It's happened to all of us. You're playing KH2 and get a new menu option and you're like, Drive? Holy shit, we got Mario Kart in this game? Hell yeah! Well, actually, it just changes the color of your clothes, but you get some wacky effects. These range from increased mobility to different attacks based on what form you're in, and each one has its own movement ability, known as a growth ability. Leveling your drive forms will grant Sora the ability to equip them in base form, among other abilities. This video is all about leveling these drive forms quickly and efficiently so you're not wasting hours trying to max them out. Let's start out with basic drive mechanics, since they'll definitely come into play as we're leveling them up. First off, let's take a look at the gauge itself, and then what happens while you're in a form. When not in a form, your drive gauge acts normally. Since it's not in use, it won't drain, and collecting drive orbs and hitting enemies will both fill the gauge. This number right here is how many drive bars you have, which you spend to go into a form or use a summon. Here's how much each one costs. When you're in a form, the gauge now constantly drains, and hitting enemies will drain it even faster. Drive orbs will still refill it though, with the exception of anti-form. The maximum amount of form bars you have in a form is dictated by what level the form is. It starts out at 3 bars for a level 1 form, then every level afterwards increases the count by 1. Remember, the level cap for any drive form is based on how many forms you've obtained, and works exactly the same way. Starts out at 3, then every new form after Valor Form raises the max level of all forms by 1, all the way up to level 7. Different drive forms level up in different ways. You can check your status screen to see how much EXP you have for a specific form, and hover over it to see how exactly gaining EXP works. Next, we'll go over drive tricks you can use to make leveling much more bearable. First off is the world map trick. This one's pretty simple, but it'll save you so much time when grinding. While in a drive form, if you return to the world map from a save point, you'll restore your drive gauge to max. This also works in any room that your party members are forced to walk around in. Second is using Form Boost, which increases the amount of time you can be in a form. There are 3 copies of Form Boost in this game, but the last 2 you can't get until nearly the end, so using Oathkeeper, once you get it from the story, will usually be the best option you have when grinding, unless you need a different Keyblade. Next is avoiding Anti-Form. Anti-Form's a form you might go into while trying to drive, which, on top of disabling most of Sora's defensive capabilities, also drains Sora's drive gauge to 0. It might seem like triggering the dreaded Anti-Form is completely random, but there's actually certain conditions that have to be met to go into Anti-Form. I won't bore you with the specifics, but just know that for the sake of this guide, going into a form before being in battle, as in the command menu hasn't changed, will never result in Anti-Form. This next one is useful if you actually did get Anti-Form and got drained to 0, or if you ever need a quick drive refill. Head over to Olympus Coliseum and select the Cerberus Cup. And look at that, all your drive is refilled. You can just quit out and return to whatever you were doing. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get on with it. I'll be going in order of when you obtain the forms, and where the best spot is for each point in the game. Beware, there will be some minor spoilers about forms, bosses, and areas. You've been warned. Valor Form is gonna be a little boring. It gains EXP based on how many Keyblade hits connect with an opponent. Be prepared to mash that attack button a lot. If you haven't finished Agrabah yet, basically anywhere is okay. Areas with lots of small heartless work well since you can get multiple hits on them very quickly, like at the beginning of Beast Castle or this Pete mini-boss. Once you've completed Agrabah, this mushroom is the best place to do it. He'll always be chilling here after you complete Agrabah. If you've activated the revisits of the worlds, you'll have to finish Agrabah again to be able to find him here. Just go in Valor, activate the mushroom, and go to town. To maximize efficiency, throw in any air combo pluses you have, like Starseeker, and always skip the finisher, since it drains more drive. If you run out of time, just re-enter the room and he'll be right there. Wisdom Form isn't that bad. It gains EXP based on how many Heartless are killed while in the form. Be prepared to use magic a lot, since Wisdom's magic is great at vaporizing them, and keep some ethers with you to use before you hit MP recharge. Make sure you watch until the end of this part to see a really efficient bit you might accidentally skip over during the story. A great early game area is this hallway in Beast Castle. The hook bats are what you're looking for, just make sure to not use their RC, Bat Cry, since RC kills don't count for Wisdom Form kills. Thunder and Reflect both just destroy these guys. If you've already activated the revisits of the worlds, the next best place is in Timeless River. Start out in Mickey's house. These guys fall really easy to Magnet and Thunder. There's the save point outside if you want to be cheap with your ethers, and the door here will respawn all the enemies and restore your drives, so make sure you get there in time. If you've made it to the world that never was, but haven't yet made it past the brink of despair, you have access to the best Wisdom Form farming method in the game. It's all these shadows. Fire will make quick work of them, especially with Bond of Flame. The portal in the alleyway will restore your drive quicker than the world map. Once you go into the castle, these shadows will be replaced with nobodies, so make sure you max out your wisdom here so you don't have to waste extra time in Timeless River. Limit Form is boring. To level up at least. I love using it in battle. That Ars Arcanum combo? It gains EXP whenever you activate a finishing reaction command on one of its 4 limits. You could level this as you go through the story, but there's a few better ways to go about it. As soon as you get it, you have access to the best way to level it up, the Agrabah mushroom. There has to be no story going on in Agrabah for it to be here. To be the most efficient, you'll want to activate Limit Form, activate the mushroom, walk away towards the exit and face the door, and then start Sonic Rave, the fastest limit you can do. Make sure you're not locked on, or else you'll be wasting drive for no reason. Remember, you'll need to be mashing the reaction command to actually do the finisher. You can make Sonic Rave go a tiny bit faster if you mash really quickly, but whether the time efficiency is worth your muscle deterioration is up to you. The save point right outside lets you restore MP immediately by hitting save and backing out. It's also pretty quick to level up in the 1000 Heartless fight, since drive builds so quickly from so many enemies being hit. Magic refills drive faster, so a reflect or a magnet on a bunch of enemies will get you back to full drive for an MP restore and more limits. Higher difficulties can even take advantage of MP Rage from Wisdom Form here, making leveling even faster. Master Form can range from either mind-numbingly slow or insanely quick depending on how far in the story you are. This form gains EXP based on how many drive orbs you pick up while in the form. You'll always want to have jackpots on for this one, so throw on any that Sora has, along with Wishing Lamp, and draw abilities if you have some. As tempting it may be to farm Master Form as soon as you obtain it, it's going to be pretty slow if you start as soon as you get it. There's a faster method coming up soon in the story, but if for some reason you need it maxed out as soon as you get it, you can do this. Head over to the Land of Dragons village. There's a few sets of explosives in the world here, and the big ones drop drive orbs. Head out to the ridge first, detonate both of these by either striking the small ones or casting fire near them, then go back to the village cave. There's some more explosives and an assault rider here. Any kind of magic will make quick work of him, like thunder. Then exit to the map, rinse and repeat. This is going to be very slow and tedious, and it's going to generate a lot of anti-points. I would really just wait for the next method. If you've walked past this gaping hole in the postern, you've unlocked the next method. First off, you'll need at least high jump level 1 to access where we're going. Head down into the Cavern of Remembrance and platform your way up to this door. Head inside, go into Master Form, and walk towards these balloons. Give them a beating until they don't drop any more orbs, then head back to the entrance. Before you leave, make sure you take off anything that'll help you survive. Our objective once we get outside is to die. Yep, so take it all off. Your armor, second chance, once more, damage control, the works. Head back outside, then throw yourself into the abyss. This area right here is a good place for lots of things to attack you. Once you succumb to your inevitable doom and hit continue, go back to the door. Voila! Your balloons now drop orbs again. Keep doing this until you're done. Also, don't forget to put your armor back on. If you've reached the world that never was, you'll be able to do this method. This is by far the fastest way to grind Master Form, but requires at least one drive converter ability. One is gained from leveling, but depending on what you picked on the beginning, it might be a long way from where you are. The other is the Keyblade's Sweet Memories, which I would swap with Oathkeeper, so you have Sweet Memories and Wishing Lamp. Either method of getting drive converter works, but having both will speed up the process even further. Head into the tower and go up to the Moon Chamber. Go into Master Form and go mingle with the gamblers. Wait for them to start an RC and play the minigame. Stop dice is easier for me since I know the timing, but begin game, the card one, can be a little easier to get the timing down for. I leave my cursor here on the third selection and wait a little bit for the roulette to slow down. If you fail, don't panic. You can leave the room even if you get turned into a card or a die. Just float over to the door as a card, or as a die, jump over right in front of it and wait for Sora to stop moving while holding the stick towards the door. Every time this happens, your form gauge will be set to just under 2 bars, and that's more than enough to be able to leave, come back, and complete a minigame. Just keep trying, or if you really think you need to reset your gauge, there's a save point at the top of the tower 2 rooms away. And now for the final form. Get it? 'Cause it's called Final Form? This form gains EXP based on no buddies you kill while in the form. Where you want to grind Final Form depends on what level it is and how confident you are at maneuvering while in Final Form without wasting gauge. For every single one of these areas, you'll want all the fire boosts you can get, so equip it if you have some and throw on Bond of Flame. Oathkeeper is especially important on Final Form since it burns through drives so quickly. Your main form of attack to destroy nobodies should be Firaga, since it's very mobile and absolutely melts HP bars. You should probably throw both that and Ethers on shortcut for this. This one is best if you're currently low level on Final Form, and you're not very confident in your Final Form movement yet. Head to the Twilight Town Mansion's computer room, then into the basement hall. This is a really simple area to get used to the movement. You can be efficient here and gather the samurai by targeting the center one with Magnet. This will bring them all together, so you can then go into Final Form and throw out a couple fires. If you still have around 2 full bars, you can continue into the basement corridor and take out another wave of nobodies. Make sure you save half a bar to make sure you don't run out before making it back to the save point. Once you're level 3 on Final Form, you have some more efficient options. The Mysterious Tower in Twilight Town is the next area to head to. Here on the first section of the Wayward Stairs, you can magnet these dusks and go Final Form and throw out some fires. Move your way up to the next set, and the next set, firing both. Head into the center of the next room and reflect the Dragoons as they come down. Fire any straggling survivors. Remember, you'll need about 3/4 of a bar to glide your way back down to the save point from this point. Once you're level 4, you get an equipable form boost, making the next more efficient area a lot easier to manage. If you've unlocked the final save point, you have access to the most efficient place to kill nobodies, specifically at Knott's Skyway. The area you want to be is around here, between these 2 ramps. Waves and waves of low HP creepers spawn here, making them the perfect fodder for Final Form XP. Just fire them and keep moving to where they spawn. Remember, you'll need around 3/4 of a drive bar to get back to the save point, and that's making sure you don't hit anything while on the way. Jump really high and glide over anything that could potentially screw you up. If you end up having extra drive, you can start using the creepers and samurai at the entrance to the room. I wouldn't recommend going higher than these ramps though, since the berserkers at the top can eat up a lot of gauge and make you revert accidentally. That would not be, as the cool kids might say, very pog. So as a recap, Mansion Basement and Corridor for low levels, Mysterious Tower for the middle, and Not Skyway for the last levels. Alright, now that you've absorbed all that info into your tiny little head, go out there and max them out. Hopefully this all makes it easier, so you don't waste like 10 hours of your life like I did the first time I played this game. Thanks for watching. See y'all.